on, everybody? Welcome to Lineman Life Live. Today is Wednesday, hump day. Hope everybody is having a wonderful week. There's been a number of things that have transpired today in sports. We're going to get to talk about those things here in a little bit. But first, do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already done so, and share this stream out on your social media accounts. Help my channel grow. Show that support, send it out to your friends, and let them know you're having a good time Monday, Wednesday, and Friday talking sports with Uche. So, with all that being said, something that I thought was really a big deal coming out of the NFL, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson looks to be having another twist in his off the field escapades. Now, again, he's alleged by 22 different accusers of some inappropriate stuff. But I think that there is a lot that we can look at and kind of get somewhat of a fuller scope of what's going on in this situation, because there are a number of things that have kind of come to light today that really don't really leave us in any better a spot than we were in before in terms of the details here. We know the gist of things, but we just don't really know where all of this is going. But ESPN's reporting that today the FBI or maybe they've just joined or they've been a part of, but they are investigating allegations against Houston Texans QB Deshaun Watson, possible extortion. This is a twist. This is a twist because now what we initially knew was that this was going to be a civil situation where he was being sued and he was having to negotiate payouts basically for these 22 women. So again, no one really knows what happened right now. Nobody really knows. Like, there's not really a real understanding of what the hell's going on in this outside of he say, she say. But when the FBI gets involved and it's looking like they may possibly be looking at extortion, well, that opens up a whole new path. We begin to see a little bit clearer picture. But let's listen to this quick 1-minute clip from, I believe this is, I think this is Deshaun Watson's attorney right here. It sounds like it. I heard about 10 seconds of it. But let's listen to it and let's react.
What I want to talk about very briefly today is sort of respond to what I consider this breathless coverage right now. And I'm not complaining about it again, but I'm just simply saying there's really nothing new that has been happening in this case for 4 months. In April, the FBI came to us and told us that they were investigating a matter as to whether one of Mr. Busby's clients had committed extortion in the way they were demanding money from Deshaun or what they would do if he didn't pay them. We talked to them. We were not the ones who contacted them. They contacted us. We talked to them. We even let them interview Deshaun. And if y'all can find a lawyer would let his client talk to the FBI, if the lawyer thought his client had done anything wrong or had any exposure, then I'll be very, very surprised. So we've kept that confidential. They, of course, would not be informing us of the investigation and where it stood. I don't know where it stands today. They have no obligation to be telling us that, and we haven't asked them. If we had relevant information and they asked, we would share it with them, and that was it. What I want to talk.
So there you have it. This is Deshaun Watson's attorney, Rusty Hardin. Now, the FBI reached out to Deshaun Watson. It wasn't a situation of him reaching out, and they're looking at possible extortion. So this, I think that there is a certain element of this where you look at it and you think, well, this is not something that anyone thought was impossible, because we, more often than maybe we think, these kind of situations happen where guys or women get extorted, or people attempt to extort them because of the funds that they possess, and they find a story or a narrative to get behind. And, you look at the climate of today and social media's climate today, there are going to be a lot of reactionary people who jump on that in a heartbeat, who absolutely, unequivocally believe that Deshaun Watson committed, these heinous acts, these inappropriate acts. But again, new information changes the facts. So I want to give a shout out to this blacksportsonline.com. These guys have come across text messages from one of the accusers in regards to Deshaun. And in these text messages, she is apologizing for her inappropriate behavior with Deshaun. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to go through these texts. I'm not sure if you guys can see them. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So you guys can get a look. I think that's good. But you see here, DW, Deshaun, says, can you text the address again? And obviously they have redacted the address. You have all size towels, right? No, I thought I could go run to go get some. Can you bring them with you? Okay, I'm gonna run and see what I can find in NRG. Not sure what that means. Okay, no worries. Take your time. Walking in. Okay, I'm at the door. And then this would have been that day, 4:57 p.m. She says, "Hi, Deshaun. Just wanted to say thank you for trusting me with your massage today. I'll be there. I'll be here till January 3rd if you'd like to come get another one. Sounds good. Thank you." Now, let's move on to the next one. Now, in this one, this is a text that was received early in the morning. "I hope all is well. I just want to say I apologize for my actions. That was not me, and if I could take back that moment, I would. I really devalued my integrity and profession. My sessions have never went like that. I feel really horrible as a person." And the response here is, "I'm sorry. What do you mean?" But I think that this is huge right here. This is an apology for actions. What actions? What did you do? An apology for actions. So does this give more weight to his side of the story, at least in this case? I would say hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, of course, you'd have to drill down further and find out what exactly in actual the words to what exactly explains this from a verbiage standpoint. What are you talking about specifically? But we all know this is an apology for something that happened. So moving on from that one, you're going to start to see things kind of turn a little bit here in how these two are communicating. And I think that it is really telling that the tone shift of this entire conversation and how things begin to kind of degrade into what could be considered nefarious actions. So let's take a look. Now here, I believe this is now on the Instagram. It says, "Let me hit my manager to send it to me. I'm currently on vacation, so I will get it to you." Not sure exactly what they're talking about, but it says, "Hey, Deshaun, I know you're probably busy, but can you scan me the executed copy of the original NDA you have via email?" Non-disclosure agreement. Non-disclosure agreements. What do those usually go out with? Like, what are those things? What are those usually associated with? Those things are associated with parties agreeing not to speak about the details of a case because someone is paying money to bury it. Now, obviously, you see the name down here at the bottom. Warm regards, Shanae, one of the accusers. Let's see here. Also, I wanted to know if you're interested in a follow-up call to make sure we're on the same page about a game plan moving forward. Collaborating to make sure everything runs smoothly in this situation. This was the day before, 4:32 p.m. This is the next morning. Deshaun, I need to speak with your manager again. Later that morning, hey Deshaun, your manager was pretty contentious about negotiations. No problem. I wish you the best and good luck. Wow. This is intent right here. That you can read into that and say this is intent. What exactly does he need good luck for? I wish you the best and good luck. For what? And you're talking about how his manager is pretty contentious about negotiations, so you're clearly not happy about how those negotiations played out. But what? What is the intent here? Where is this going? This is now turned into a contentious conversation. And then here we have April 19th of this year, and I'm pretty sure you guys can't see this. Pretty sure I can't see this. Do me a favor before we read into this. Hit that like button. I see we got 3 likes right now. We got 3 likes, and there's 14 people in here. Smash that like button. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Houston, April 19th, 2021, from Tony Busby, the Busby Law Firm. Statement to the press. This isn't even a court filing or a complaint being filed. This is a statement to the press. As fully anticipated, and despite his lawyer's previous statements, Deshaun Watson's only defense is to call these brave women liars. The weak and vague allegations made in defendant's response are demonstrably false. Watson can't deny he sought out an unusually high number of women for massages on Instagram. He doesn't deny he insisted on being nude or nearly nude. He can't deny the massage sessions occurred. He can't deny he wanted more than a massage. And he hasn't credibly denied that something bad happened during the session. He instead claims that any sexual acts were consensual. Of course, his definition of consent doesn't comport with that of everyone else. I have faith that the court process will sort out the truth as these matters progress. So, I think there's a little bit of a timeline there. You can kind of fall behind. You can kind of see that there is a series of events that take place that lead to this point on April 19th, 2021. And, there's a lot there that when you put it all together, at least with this particular individual, is there any reason that the FBI wouldn't look at that and say, whoa, wait a minute. This seems like it could be extortion going on. I think at least with this accusation, there's at the very least enough evidence to look into it more, at the very least. But what do you guys think? What we got? You guys are quiet today. What's up? Alonzo, what's up? Yeah, extortion. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like to me, guys. At least with this one. Now, I find it funny that with all of this information, we're not hearing about this on the news. We're not hearing about it. Or maybe they are. Here we go. Here's some outlets that are talking about it. And I mean, a lot of them are kind of like, here's one from Game 7. It says new leaked text messages exonerate Deshaun Watson. Okay. What is this? Oh, cryptic. What is all this? Okay. That's the problem with some of these websites. You go fishing in them and you get caught up. Here we go. Let me see. Okay. So this is a little bit old. This is from April 11th. Deshaun Watson massage therapist tries to explain text messages.
Welcome aboard the Disney Bundle, where Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus come.
Stop. Okay. Let me see here. This is something. I mean, I haven't seen any of these texts. I've not even like really. I've not even really been keeping up with this thing because it's so convoluted. And, you know, until there's like something coming out from the court or something coming out from the police, you know, it's like just wait and see, right? Just wait and see. So let's see. Let's see. So this is Jasmine Brooks. And this is a different person than the one we just saw. She says the next day Brooks spoke to KHOU about the situation. She didn't deny sending the messages, which explained her decision to stop providing massages after 2.5 years. The interview with Brooks included the chain of text messages in question. Said, well, I mean, this is all they're going to show? Come on, man. See, this is the thing, man. These motherfuckers got to report things better. Like, this is all you're going to give us? Let me see. The first from Brooks. I know. Then from Brooks. That's crazy. Who are these two? Then from Brooks, I told you I stopped working with him. Next, a response, yeah, why? Finally, 4 replies from Brooks, because I was hearing too much stuff about him messing with other people. Oh, because I was hearing too much stuff about him messing with other people. Devil's in the details. The devil is in the details. Other people is different than he was doing inappropriate things, and I don't want to deal with that. Like, if we're just breaking things down to the simplest form, this is a message that is sent, generally from somebody who doesn't like that they're not exclusive. But let's read the rest of it. There's more context. Like other therapists and estheticians, he's been doing a lot the last 3 to 4 months, and I've even told his ass he needed to be careful because his name getting around. I just hope don't nobody call me to question me. Like, what does this mean? What does all this mean? I mean, if I'm thinking about this, like, and just being real about it, like, I mean, hell, back in my younger days, I've heard this type of thing before from girls that I would date, and it's never implied by me that it's exclusive, that they get angry when one of their friends of a friend mentions my name and it makes its way to them. Then I start hearing things about, oh, you're messing with all these girls. And it's already in her mind that I'm messing with all these girls. So that's what this kind of sounds like to me. I don't know. I mean, how many other people have been in those situations where you hear this kind of chatter from a female or from a spouse, a friend, or a side piece, or whatever it may be, where they get mad because your name came up in circles, and now because everybody talks, now there's a little bit of jealousy here. And I even told him his ass needed to be he needed to be careful because his name is getting around. That's weird. That's weird to me. It really is. So you guys are talking now. We buzzing it up. And I mean, I see some chatter in here about what does this mean for, his prospects as a player. Honestly, who knows? Who knows, man? The NFL is already a difficult. It's already a difficult system when it comes to player conduct to actually understand where the consistency is in it, because there are some times when guys get charged with things in their private life, and for one, there's the running back from Washington football team who the charges against him were just dropped. And he was cut the moment that the charges were made, but the charges ended up being dropped. So, he's out of a job, so he's allowed now to come back. And I think he's looking at a 6-game suspension, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's looking at a 6-game suspension. But then you have a guy like Ray Rice. I mean, we saw what he did, and even with, as abhorrent as it was, his wife, or his girl who then became his wife, she got behind him. She covered basically for him. She covered for him. But that cat is done. He's been done. His career was done. And this was one of the top running backs in the NFL at the time. And his career is done. So there's no consistency from the NFL. We don't know how they're going to really play this out because, personally, I think you're looking at it right now, I don't think that he's playing this season. I don't think he will until this is completely wrapped up, whether it be him paying 22 women in a civil court case or, police coming out and saying, look, they were extorting them. There's nothing here that we can find to validate or back up their claims. We're not saying that they're lying. We're just saying that they're not presenting us with the things we need from a legal standpoint to actually say this is a crime. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those two things has to happen before you can even begin to really guess on how this is going to be handled by the NFL. Because the NFL is literally just like, they just have the hammer up in the air. It just sits there for everybody. The hammer just sits in the air and it's either coming down or it is staying in the air, one way or another. But, his situation is very convoluted. It's very confusing. I mean, who the hell knows? I have no idea how this shit is going to play out for him. No idea. But let's go through some more of this. Let me see. Because, honestly, I haven't seen any of this stuff. So it's kind of new to me, even though it came out in April. Let's see. Brooks was then questioned about the text exchange. She first said it was taken completely out of context. Do you guys think it was taken completely out of context? We just read through her stuff, and it doesn't sound like somebody who's accusing him of committing a crime. Somebody who's accusing him of being promiscuous, which, last I checked, that's not illegal. It's not illegal unless it's unconsensual. And, if it's 3 or 4 months of him getting around with the therapists and the estheticians, well then, if they weren't consensual, why are y'all talking about it as if they were? Because that's what some of what I'm seeing from her looks like. And again, this is perspective based on what I see, what I'm reading. I'm not judging or saying one way or the other. I'm just adding things. I'm connecting dots and just saying, okay, if this is this, if 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 2 is 4, then what's 4 plus 4? 8. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do here? You know what I mean? But let's continue on. She said, let's see, taken completely out of context. Wait, did I lose my spot here? Okay, in the interview, Brooks explained that she stopped massaging Watson because he had been working with so many people. She said that she thought there was a potential liability issue. What? That don't make no sense. If Watson were to be injured by one of the various people working on him, I just didn't want that on my plate anymore. Hey, look. To me, that's bullshit. What she said right here is not the truth. Because let's be real. If you understand how business works and how insurance for businesses work, a massage therapist company or individuals who have LLCs, there is insurance that's required for them to operate, and insurance handles injuries. That's if Deshaun decides, okay, I'm gonna file a lawsuit because this woman, pulled my hamstring while she was giving me a massage. You know what I mean? Like that's not something that you're generally going to be concerned about when you're talking about why you don't want someone seeing other massage therapists. There is only one that I can really think of. And that is because you want him to yourself. That's maximum profit for you. That's notoriety. That is going to further your career and your reputation as a massage therapist. These things are, that's business 101. You connect with people who have influence because their influence rubs off on you. And her first response to explain these text messages is to say she was worried about potential liability issues. We're talking about liability when your text message says he's been doing a lot the last 3 to 4 months, and I even told his ass he needed to be careful because his name is getting around. I just hope don't nobody call me to question me. She hopes that nobody who maybe, and I don't know if these are supposed to be coming from Instagram, right? So if these are independent contract massage therapists, then who's going to question you about anything? About what? If that's the case, then say what it is. Say what it is. I can't get past this line because I've been hearing too much stuff about him messing with other people. Messing with other people means having relations with other people. She doesn't like that. I think that's clear as day. You don't need a criminal justice degree to understand that. You don't. Especially for those of us who, look, I was a pro athlete. I had my pick of the litter for the longest. And these kind of conversations are had about girls talking to girls about who else are you messing with, because they don't like that you messing with other people. That's how it is. That's how it is. And I mean, I guess everybody can't necessarily understand how that works. But for us, for the individuals who are public figures, who have the ability to be like admired by groups of people who have that kind of influence, a lot of times if you begin to date someone and they hear anything or they see you just standing around other women or anything like that, now it becomes a jealousy game. And that's the truth of it. I've lived that countless times. I mean, come on. Come on. Let's see here. Brooks then was questioned about the text exchange. She first said it was taken completely out of context because it was sent not to another therapist, but to a friend. What? How is that? How does that make it? How does that take it out of context? That doesn't make sense. Because it was sent to not to another therapist, but to a friend. I mean, okay, you sent the message. It doesn't mean. I mean, what is the difference between you sending it to a friend is no different than if you send it to another therapist. It's the same communication being made. And again, I mean, damn, here we go. In parentheses, this doesn't mean the message was taken out of context. Oh my goodness. I'll be watching these JCS criminal psychology, this channel on YouTube, and they break down like psychological like patterns that people follow when they're like trying to beat around the bush, when they're being deceptive, when they're when they are trying to get around responsibility. And one of the things that you often hear is that what they said is being taken out of context, or what their action in this regard is being taken out of context. But you can never explain the true context because the true context will make you look bad. She then addressed the content of the text messages. Really what I meant, and let me highlight this here so we know. Really what I meant was Deshaun he's working with a lot of people. He's working with a lot of therapists. I don't know these people. I don't know what they're doing with them. And I just wasn't comfortable with continuing to work with them. Okay, so if that's the case closed. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about here. There's been an instance. There's been an instance that I know of that me and Deshaun had spoke about with an esthetician, and Deshaun is in a relationship, snitch, but there was some sort of personal relationship with this person. Okay, so you mad? And me speaking to Deshaun and telling him to be careful was because I feel like he doesn't know the intentions of some of the people that he works with. His personal information has been put on Instagram platform, and I just feel like it wasn't safe for him or for his career to just kind of go to anybody. Okay, so with more information here, I read this and I think to myself, you don't want him working with anybody, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here and say, yeah, you don't know who else he's working with. You don't know what they may be doing in terms of their routine and helping work on him. And that is perfectly common when somebody seeks business from different people in regards to this situation. So wouldn't you just ask him what was his last session like? What did he do in his last session? Wouldn't you just ask that question so you knew where to go? We're athletes. We understand our body. We'll tell you exactly what we want worked on and how we want it to be worked. Like, we'll tell you where there's pain and where we need to gain some flexibility. These aren't things that we are in, that we don't understand. This is our business. Our body is our business. So it really doesn't make sense outside of a deflection and a deceptive kind of look that she's hiding behind the professional side of the business and saying what she says. That's just how I see it. I mean, what do you guys think? It's called no license. Yeah, no license. Whack excuse. Most deaf. Okay. So, let's see here. So I'm not, and now, okay, so she issued statements in support of him. Okay. This now that kind of, that puts that frames this much more consistently. So she's making she's literally trying to cover why she was texting about him like this. So it doesn't really, I'm not understanding, if you're going to try and cover for him in this regard, we still don't know exactly what all of this messing with other people is. I think that, again, it comes down to she was probably dealing with him personally, and she found out that he's looking and having his pick of the litter. And, maybe there was a genuine concern that, hey, watch out, one of these girls might try and get you, which we saw from the, I think Renee was her name, the other one, the text messages from earlier. So, okay, if that's the angle that she's going to take, then okay, cool. But if that's not what we're talking about, then one, you could be held liable if you're lying about him doing something that's illegal or inappropriate. But if it was illegal or inappropriate, then why haven't you said that in the text with your friend that you were talking to? So, again, it's convoluted. There's one side that's saying this and one side that's saying that. That makes sense as to all of her text messages except for one. I just hope don't nobody call me to question me. Now, what does that mean? I think, personally, you talk about this, they're going to be asking, did you mess with him? That's what it is. Girls always want to find out who another person is messing with. Now, could be wrong. Could be, okay, this girl said that he did this and she didn't want that, and I don't want nobody coming to question me. Could be that. Could be that. Not gonna say that that's an impossibility. But if that's the case, generally you make it known that that's the kind of situation that he's looking at. Why does she hope no one calls her to question her? She freely agreed to speak, and she spoke without hesitation or equivocation. Common sense suggests that I just hope don't nobody call me to question me means that there's something she knows or that she's heard that she doesn't want to have to disclose regarding Deshaun Watson? Well, could be a number of things. A lot of times it's personal affairs, personal business. He's in a relationship. Who she doesn't want to come question her is likely his spouse, likely his girl. She don't want his girl. I mean, come on. We kind of know how this plays out. If you're a modern guy and you've been in these situations, you know how it plays out. You go to sleep, your phone's sitting on we all know the Tiger Woods story. Your phone's sitting on the nightstand, and whoop, somebody gets a peek at your text messages or gets a peek at your Instagram message. It pops up on your screen. I mean, you see it on TV, you see it in all kinds of different situations in life. That's the constant drama between men and women. So you see this, and I would think that's probably the most likely scenario, because she doesn't want to have to talk to his girl. And his girl, as girlfriends will do, they will do their detective work, and then they'll start hitting people up on the side, asking questions and making threats. You know what I mean? So shoot, this is all the stuff that we're talking about. And boom, just like Robert Atzert says here, she could have been looking out for Watson, knowing he would end up getting bribed for cheating. Yeah, I think that's spot on, dude. I think that makes more sense than just, he did something inappropriate. Because, again, like, when you put the rubber to the road and you start looking at actual things that people said, we're not seeing thus far that they're saying that he did something that they expressly said they did not want to happen. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing that come from anybody. We're seeing people, one, apologizing for doing something to him. Come on. He's like, I'm sorry, what do you mean? Like, he ain't gonna respond to that and say, it's all good, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't tripping, you jumped on my shit, but it's all cool, you know what I mean? That's not what's happening. He's not gonna respond to like that. He's gonna be like, huh? No me gusta. Like, you got no idea what she's talking about because you don't know who's looking at his phone. He's not gonna respond like that. That would be stupid of him. Okay, that interpretation makes even more sense as it appears the text exchange was sparked by the notion that Watson had been sued for misconduct during massage sessions. The notion, sparked by the notion. This is after the fact. This was sparked by the notion that Watson had been sued for misconduct. This is an after the fact statement here. This is an after the fact. This was not what was being accused in the text messages. This is what they're using the text message to say, that this is the assumption of what happened. When, again, for people who are in the know, if you're reading in between the lines of what she was texting, then you know that she's worried about him potentially getting caught up, and then she don't want nobody coming and asking her questions, which, if you're thinking about how this thing happens in daily life, you don't want nobody coming in, you don't want nobody's girl coming and asking you, who is the side chick or the one night stand. You don't want the girlfriend to come to you, because that's just a whole bag of shit that nobody wants to deal with. And then on top of that, of course, high profile guy, makes a ton of money, biggest sports star in Houston. And, there are people who can use any of these situations and try to get a financial gain out of it. That's something that happens a lot more than we think. And a lot more than you hear about. A lot more than you hear about. So, let's get to the end of this here. It says, regardless, it's now a certainty that Jasmine Brooks will be subpoenaed by Busby to testify in up to 22 civil trials. God damn, 22 civil trials. My guy. That's going to take years. And she will indeed be questioned aggressively and repeatedly regarding her text messages. And that is that. I did not know this information. So there's one therapist here who, to a certain extent is defending him. But also, when you look at these, again, like I said, this is not somebody who is accusing him of doing something. Just want to say I apologize for my actions. That was not me, and if I could take back that moment, I would. I really devalued my integrity in my profession. My sessions have never went like that. I feel really horrible as a person. What? Question mark, question mark, question mark. What? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So this is this case is one that is going to continue to, you know, rear its ugly head as we move forward in the process of it. I'm not really sure how things are going to end up. Again, this is just, it's crazy. It's a lot of he say, she say, but like I said, these things here are huge because they're showing that it's not, this doesn't sound like somebody who is accusing. This sounds like somebody who knows they did something and they felt guilty about it. They willingly did it, but now after the fact feel guilty. Well, look, that's life. You know, this shit happens. You know, does that mean that you turn this into a misconduct case? No. I mean, I don't know. I don't have the answers for any of the after, but I know that when you say these kind of things, you don't go back on that when things aren't going the way you hoped and now try to get money from this guy. That puts you in the wrong. So we'll see what the FBI does in regards to that. Let's see. All right. Now, this situation here, we're going to move on. This situation here is one that I don't really know. You guys are going to have to help me out on this because I don't really know what this entire situation is about. But Dramon Green and Kevin Durant, they were on this, and here's some video from it. Let me see here. Okay, so we'll look at this one. I'm not up to speed on this situation. I don't know what the hell their whole beef is about. Maybe you guys can help explain a little bit of it. I know that they had an argument during the NBA, I think it was NBA Finals one year or something like that, against the Cavaliers. Oh, no, the Clippers in 2018. Says Draymond Green and Kevin Durant call out Bob Myers and Steve Kerr for how the Warriors handled their infamous argument versus the Clippers in 2018. There's a full interview here. 3 minutes. I mean, what was the interview? What was the argument? Does anybody really know what this argument was about? Because I got no damn clue. I got no clue. But let's go ahead. Let's listen to it. We'll try to run through this quick. And then we'll kind of open it up and see what you guys want to talk about for the very end of the live stream. So let's hear what Dramon and KD got to say.
For my own personal sanity, because I've been getting my ass kicked ever since you left. So just for my own personal sanity, how much did our argument against the Clippers drive you to ultimately lead the Warriors?
It wasn't the argument, it was the way that everybody, Steve Kerr act like it didn't happen, Bob Myers and tried to just discipline you and think that would put the mask over everything. I really felt like that was such a big situation for us as a group. The first time we went through something like that, we had to get that shit all out. I remember watching The Last Dance.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know what they were necessarily arguing about, but this is dealing really with how it was handled by Steve Kerr and who was it? Bob Meyer, I think it was. Is that like their GM? I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know. I didn't keep up with the Golden State Warriors much at all. I'm a Mavericks fan, so that's that.
And when Scotty didn't go into the game, the whole team in the locker room said, Scotty, that was fucked up that you did that. We needed that. We just needed to throw all of that shit out on the table and say, yo, Dre, K, like, that was fucked up that we even had to go through that. Let's just wipe our hands with that and go finish the task. I don't think we did that and we tried to dance around it. I just didn't like how all of that, just the vibe between all of that, it just made shit weird to me. And I'd rather us be who we say we are, family first. Communication is key. Like, we didn't show that, and that's what rubbed me the wrong way more than anything.
Okay. So, I mean, just taking from what I'm hearing here, I mean, and this is something that happens in sports, especially team sports, when top players clash heads, and there is, there's kind of a reckoning that needs to happen for the team just to get past, this juncture of a difficulty. So, you see this happen in teams. And a lot of times, especially when teams are, in critical situations and they need to have or everyone needs to be on the same page. This is where like the team meeting gets called by a captain. This is where, guys, have get it out in an open space where everybody on the team can say their feelings, say how they perceive things, and everybody can, figure out where and how to move forward. And the team is better for it. The team comes together more because now it's not a bunch of assumptions. It's not a bunch of finger pointing. It is, hey, who cares what the issue is? Who cares what the argument was over? This is what we're trying to get done as a team. Now, can we all buy into doing what we have to do and playing our role in order to reach this ultimate goal? And, that is crucial for a team. When they reach that point, you have to have that kind of communication, open communication. I know we've done it before in Jacksonville where, we have a situation with a player and so story time. So what year was this? This was, I think this was what, 2000. This was 2008. 2008 season, so my second year, I believe. Yes, because Freddie T was still there in Jacksonville. And we have a team meeting. Oh, yeah, this is after we lost to the Cincinnati Bengals in 2008. They were like 0-8. We were, I think we were like 4-3, something like that. 4-3. 5-3, something like that. We had been on a little win streak. We had a little win streak going, and that game just kind of devolved into a disaster. We ended up losing by like 2 points, but it was like this would have put us at the top of the division in the AFC South, and we literally we blew it. We just blew it. We blew it. I mean, that was the first and only game I got yanked because of performance. That was my first year as a starter. So I got yanked from that game. But the very next day, it was a day of reckoning. We had a team meeting, head coaches in there. He comes prepared with a bag full of bullets in his pocket, and he just starts taking shots. And I mean, when I tell you this guy was taking shots, Jack Del Rio literally was going down on a PowerPoint with quotes from the newspaper, from certain players wanting contract extensions and threatening to hold out, with pictures of like 80% of the team out on Friday night at a club for First Friday in Jacksonville. And 2 players, one of which is a starter, arrested, for DUI that same night. So, all these things boiled over and came to a head at the end of that loss. And Jack didn't hold back. He even was talking about the antics, the pranks that we would pull on each other in the locker rooms. That game, before we left for that game on that Saturday, we had a little situation that we dubbed Donut Gate, where guys at different positions, linebackers, and usually it was like the linebackers versus the running backs or the wideouts versus the DBs. They would like prank each other all throughout the season. And on Saturdays, we got a bunch of like breakfast stuff put out in the locker room, in the middle of the locker room, Krispy Kreme, bagels, Einstein bagels, all these different, stuff, orange juice, milk. It's all set out. Players come in, you grab something, you go to your meeting. And I mean, the level of pranking had gotten so hardcore that a couple of our linebackers grabbed some of the Krispy Kreme donuts, went into the bathrooms, and this is alleged. We don't know if this, I cannot verify this for a fact to this day, but it is alleged that these two linebackers stuck their junk through the hole in the donut. Jack got wind of that. So that was something that he exploded on the team for. He exploded. I'll never forget it. We're sitting there. Oh, man, I'm sitting in the meeting room looking at this cat, his face getting red. He's like, no, I don't know about you, man. But I know one thing. Somebody's sticking their dick in the donuts. Well, that's fighting shit right there. We're going to fucking fight. And everybody was just dead quiet like, oh, shit, how do you know about that? How do you know about that? So he called out a certain player on some of the things that he didn't like, and that player got hot and he just snapped on Jack. So, the meeting got adjourned right there, and Jack and that player stayed behind. And they came out I think they came out about 15 minutes later, and, quiet, both of them. But, you yell at each other to get on the same page. There's a grievance that player had throughout the whole season that wasn't being addressed, wasn't even being spoken to about. And, now that there's something that they have to bring on to him, they instigate an argument, and now he fires back because he's tired of it too. So you kind of have those button of the heads that reach a point where, you can still respect each other as men and air what you don't like and still come back and work together for a bigger goal than yourself. And that's what they did. After that, we came back. He got suspended. I'm sorry. He got suspended, but the team was brought in to discuss amongst ourselves. Captains of the team. We had a meeting again the next day. It was just the players, no coaches. And we laid all these things out because there were concerns that leaders on the team also wanted to talk about in regards to, us as a unit. And that was the time when everybody was able to stand up and say their piece. So you had guys who would say, these are the things that I don't like that's going on. You had guys that say, these are the things that I wish we would focus more on as a group of players. And, these things were all aired out there. And at the end of the day, we came together and made us a better team, made us understand each other that much more, and we were able to move on from it. But you can't ignore it. And I think that's what you're seeing here with Kevin Durant, and what really kind of provoked him to move on from Golden State is that they just punished Dramon, and they acted like nothing ever happened, which is wrong.
When we landed back from LA, I sat Hazel was sitting in the car for an hour and 45 minutes. They pulled me in that room at Signature for an hour and 45 minutes, and they tried to tell me, you need to apologize. And I told them, I'll talk to Kay, but y'all aren't going to tell me what I need to say. Mm-hmm. And, they went on for an hour and 45 minutes saying a bunch of bullshit. And ultimately, they realized, all right, we're not getting through to him. We're going to try again in the morning. And so we met the next morning, and
it wasn't an argument. It was
Hazel was sitting in the car for an hour and 45 minutes to tell me, you need to apologize. I'll talk to Kay, but y'all aren't going to tell me what I need to say. Mm-hmm. And, they went on for an hour and 45 minutes saying a bunch of bullshit. And ultimately, they realized, all right, we're not getting through to him. We're going to try again in the morning. And so we met the next morning, and they said, all right, you slept on it. You ready to apologize? And I told them right then and there, I said, y'all about to fuck this up. I said, the only person that can make this right is me and Kay. And there's nothing that y'all can do, and y'all are going to fuck this up. And in my opinion, they fucked it up.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because coaches get all this credit for being like, these gurus, these trendsetters. Steve Kerr, he was one of those guys when he came with and took over Mark Jackson's Golden State Warriors, which is when with Mark Jackson, that's when the Splash Brothers that's when they were anointed with that title. Steve Kerr comes in and they're having an amazing season, and he's seen as this, guru of basketball because of his history with the Chicago Bulls. He also was with the Phoenix Suns in upper management. So there were, a lot of people that gave him a ton of credit for that team, which it wasn't his team. He got Mark Jackson's team the same way that Jay Gruden got Tony Dungy's Tampa Bay Bucks when he went to the Super Bowl and won with them. So, but in this situation here, for everything that they get credit for, one of the most simple, and I guess maybe I don't want to say it's just simple, but one of the most commonplace roadblocks or obstacles that a team will face is players getting into altercations that can potentially damage team chemistry. And coaches generally handle that in a way where you are hands off and you encourage that the players sit together and figure that out because like he said, they're really the only ones that can solve that. They're the only ones who can get past that. There's no GM or no owner or anyone who is going to be able to force that situation to fix itself. That's just a naive and an irrational way to think about it. And it surprises me that once again, coaches seem to not have the self-awareness to understand that in some cases. And for everything that you say about Steve Kerr, people think about Steve Kerr, he's not able to handle, at least in this situation, he was not able to handle the most simple of situations that is a problem but can be fixed rather quickly if you let go of the controls and let your players deal with that. And of course, that's something that they neglected to do, so you lose respect from your players. When that happens, you lose respect.
And they told me right then and there, like, we're going to suspend you for this game. I laughed in their face, literally laughed in their face. And Bob said to me, he said, wow, that was not the reaction I was looking for or expecting. And I said, well, either I'm going to laugh in your face or I'm going to cuss you the fuck out. So you pick, I'm going to choose laugh. So I think what you're doing is funny, and so I'm going to laugh. And so it's interesting to hear you say essentially the same thing that I told them that day.
Yeah, I think overall, this thing has been trending on Twitter the entire day. Like I was kind of not wanting to talk about it because I didn't really know anything about it. But now listening to it, I know that this was like a whole lot of nothing that the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, and I think maybe the owner, I don't know who the fuck the guy is, but they just didn't know how to handle their own players. They didn't know how to handle any kind of adversity between players. And the easiest thing, again, like I said, to do is just let them handle it. That's really not that difficult of a situation to get past if you understand the in-locker room culture of athletes. I mean, you got to understand that. So Steve Kerr, that's bad team management. I'm sorry. Then they had suspended the dude for a playoff game that they needed to win. So pretty stupid in my opinion. Oh yeah. Anyways, what's going on, everybody? We're about to wrap this thing up. We're about to wrap it up. Let me see here. Any other stories going on that anybody wants to talk about. Let me see what's all the same stuff. Yeah. Anyways. Really do appreciate you guys for being in here with me tonight. Hump day. We are getting through it. I do appreciate, you guys sitting and listening to me chitter chatter about the old days. But sometimes, you got to use stories to kind of bring context to things. I got a ton of stories. I got a million stories for almost every situation you could think of. I really do have a story. So with all that being said, we are going to bring this live stream to an end. Do appreciate y'all. I am your observant lineman, Uche. Nwaneri, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already done so. And show support to my channel by sharing, liking and sharing these streams, the videos that I drop. And we'll definitely continue doing what we do here. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We'll get this thing done. But that is going to be it for this Lineman Life Live. Hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday night. And I will see you all on the next scheduled live stream, which will be on Friday. So I will see you all then. Hope everybody's good.